morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome again to Renewable's in Africa channel. We are your global clean energy champion, and what we do on a normal day, we bring you people that are very interesting, African talent and also international talent, for you to discover who they are, and you can learn a lot more from them. Today, I have a very interesting gentleman. Yeah, I won't tell you what his name is because I want him himself to tell us all about his journey, and that's what we will discover. But I can promise you something, it's going to be very interesting, so you don't want to miss a minute of it. So here we go. So, hey, Odion, how are you?
I'm doing good, Tony. How are you? What's going on?
I'm very good. I can see all the smile. I'm sure things can only be good on your side.
I can't complain, man. I truly enjoy our conversations whenever we get a chance, you know?
Yeah, excellent. So how has your day been so far? Busy?
So far, so good, actually. Today was, all my days are busy, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I try very hard not to make them busier than usual, honestly. I don't enjoy the whole idea of being busy and not accomplishing very much, you know.
Okay, I can imagine. When we're busy, effective, yeah? Busy, productive.
Busy, productive.
Excellent, I love it. Well, listen, I think obviously people on our channel, so they always usually very much enjoy us having conversation with leaders in their industries, right? So people they don't know about, but by the time we finish the conversation, they know everything about you and you want to keep on learning.
Oh, and
today I say we have a very interesting gentleman, right? So
oh my goodness, everything, they're gonna know everything.
Everything. So there's no secret actually you'll be able to hide anymore.
This is true. Let's go.
Yeah, excellent, good. So first of all, like I said, before we dive a little bit much into your story and learn, because there is a lot to learn, as I say, a lot to uncover, to unpack. So can you give us in sort of a few minutes an intro as to who is Odion? Who is Odion Okojie? So what can you tell us about you? Who are you?
Who? Oh my God. Okay. It's so funny, man. It's not always fun on the receiving end when you ask that question, right? Because I'm so used to asking that question to people and just watching them fumble through. It's like, oh. Well, I mean, if I tell you my name, then that doesn't answer who I am, right? Because then that's my name, right?
Yeah.
If I tell you where I'm from, it doesn't answer who I am because where I'm from, right? So let me see. I would say who Odion is someone who is very eclectic and sometimes very eccentric, an adventurer that just enjoys learning as much as he can. I truly have a very, very curious mindset. And I'll say that is the core of my being. I believe very, very strongly in the oneness of the entire world, you know, in the sense that everyone's is the same. We are just all trying to achieve the same thing worldwide, right? And who I am is somebody who likes to make very, very useful connections, right? And useful networks with people from various cultures.
Okay, it's fair to say that you're kind of explorer.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. How I measure up to Ferdinand Magellan, right? You know what I mean? I mean that one I can't really say, but I truly do enjoy exploring. Yes.
Well, you never know, right? Because now we're talking about going to Mars. Maybe that's the place where you're going to be the Magellan, right?
You know what? You say that like a joke, man, but I think about that a lot.
Hey, I can figure that out because I can see in your background, right? So I can see the map of the world there. I'm just thinking, I'm sure. Usually people that have it, usually they gotta have it up in mind, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You can't be having the word of the map and just being of a village mentality.
Yeah, exactly. I stare at this map every day, you know.
I can imagine.
And I'm always asking like, where's the next place, you know?
No, that's fine. So what did I say? I've been reading a lot about you, and obviously we know each other for a little while right now. And I know to a certain sense we are neighbor, right? In terms of our country of origin, where we both come from. And I'm from Cameroon, and obviously if I'm looking on the other side, it's Nigeria, and I believe this is where you're coming from. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that will listen to it, because a lot of actually readers, people that follow us or are in Nigeria. So I'm sure they'd be interested to find out a little more about your journey, from Nigeria as to, because at the moment you're in the US. So what is that journey? Did you end up on a boat and running away from a situation? What was it?
I swam.
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, I gotta say that. So obviously, I'm hoping people will take it on the lightest note possible, because to be fair, we know it's not a joke what happened to our brothers and sisters. But carry on.
Yeah, no, it's not. But you know what? Honestly, there's humor in everything, isn't there? So let me see, journey. Well, I was born and raised in Nigeria, right? Iko, from Lagos, right? But my heritage, ancestral home is Edo, so I am an Edo boy, right? When I was 16, I got on a plane for the first time and I moved to the United States by myself, right? And I came to join my family. My dad was already here. So where I call my adopted hometown is Cleveland, Ohio. Right? But
LeBron James.
Yeah, exactly, right. We're literally down the street, man, in Akron, right? That's
Oh wow.
Yeah, 20 minutes from him. It's such a strange story. You look at this guy who's just a high school player, and we used to go watch his games, and now he's just this big star. Like, it's so weird. So
exactly. Can you imagine?
That's how it is. So here I am in Cleveland, right? And that's where I went to school. I studied engineering there. But after that, I really wanted to get out of Cleveland. So from there, I moved around a bit, moved from Cleveland, to Milwaukee, then Atlanta, then outside of the, I came back to Nigeria after like 9 years, and then I went back, moved upstate New York, and then Chicago, and now I am in Arizona.
You're Arizona right now?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona right now.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, that's just a bit of the journey, I guess, but it's not the complete picture, but that's just the highlights. And yeah.
There's already some nuggets there that definitely want me to pushing me to ask you a little more, because people, I'm sure they won't be happy if I don't dig deeper, right? Because I know one of the things that is particular with you are, I guess you're like me, you're working for yourself, right?
Right.
And I think that's something you told me very strongly, that this is one part that you definitely wanted to do. Right. And I just wanted to know, because you told me the story how you ended up working for yourself. But I just wanted to say that again to people that are listening to us. What inspired you to start working for yourself? So how did that question come? Is it straight from university? Have you worked for other people before? So how did it happen?
Yeah. No. I coming out of college, right? I never really thought that working for myself was one of those things that was a possibility. Yes, I graduated in a recession, right? And I was one of those few lucky people that that had a job offer coming right out of college, right? Because I got a job offer with this company that I had interned with, right? And I studied engineering, right? So, but I knew for a fact that, man, I just didn't want to work for these guys and whatnot. But people kept telling me how lucky I was and everything. So it was a factory automation company. And that's why, that's why I would say that I cut teeth right after college, right? And quite frankly, it was the most boring thing, Tony. I mean, I could not find the motivation every single day to kind of like do this, So after that, one day I just up and left, and I decided, all right, fine. I really truly need to figure out not only the struggles for what it is that you want to do for your career, but also the struggle of who it is that you actually are, And that is a question that I think goes very, very understated when people are on their personal journey, right? At some point in time in life, you're going to have to encounter that
Sure.
question. Yeah, whether it's now or later, and I decided to face that demon, then.
So you jumped.
Oh, I jumped, and funny enough, not only was I really looking for the answer, right? I was actually looking for the right question to what is the meaning of all this? It cannot be getting up every day and going to work for somebody else, But I would say this one thing. I knew for a fact that I truly enjoyed working, right? But I did not enjoy the idea that I was not receiving the direct benefits of where my efforts were going. Right? I always told myself that this is something that I would enjoy doing, or if I was getting up every day for myself, right? I think I'll enjoy this a whole lot more, even if I was not making that much money, So, but to do this for somebody else, this is exhausting, man, and yeah, working with office politics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is too much. So, at that time, that's when after spending, I think 8-9 years in the United States, I decided to go back to Nigeria, I know that I skipped a whole lot of things right there because I feel like I don't want to scare the audience, but, I was just thinking, man, I should go spend some time in Tibet, and go pray with some monks for a while. It's really not a joke. I really considered that. I spoke to a lot of people who had done it, try to find this one Zen lifestyle, and but I thought, what, maybe going back home to Nigeria would be like a better bet. So I did, and after that, that's when I decided, okay, you know what, I want to be, I want to shift from factory automation. All right. And this after spending a year and a half in Nigeria. And I got inspired to go into the energy sector, And that's where my journey into energy actually really, truly began.
In Nigeria, actually.
In Nigeria, actually, yeah. Well, I'll say that's where the inspiration came from, really.
Okay. That's very, yeah. And it's good that you're talking about your job, because I was going to say, so one of the things that we haven't yet touched upon, and I'm sure obviously the conversation is still long, but we just want to find out, what is actually your job? What is that you do exactly? And what is that on a daily basis? How does your day look like, so that people have at least a bit of an idea, especially because I know that you may have some young people, right? That may be inspired what you were saying, and they will want to know, okay, what is that he's doing? What is Odion doing? And number one is, what is day looking like?
Sure, absolutely. So my job is that of a management / technical consultant for utilities. My particular niche is grid modernization per se, right? And that covers all manners of sin, which is from transformation projects to renewable energy projects to traditional power projects, right?
Okay.
And my day-to-day currently, well, it varies, right? But I'll say, like, right now it's more technical than anything else. It really involves a communication with what we call DER devices out in the grid, right? And helping utilities and helping my current clients to find better ways to communicate with behind the meter DER devices in customer premises, right? So right now that's a very, very broad generalization of what I currently do, not to say that that's what it's going to be tomorrow. So if you want a day-to-day of what I do, when I wake up and do I stretch or do I do yoga, I can go into that too, right? So yeah, but I'm assuming that is the answer you're kind of looking for as far as day-to-day goes.
Well, right? I think the answer is whatever you feel comfortable sharing, what is actually what is natural to you, right? It's not the question of because actually we're doing it, because like I say, I'm sure lots of people would enjoy listening to what you do, because I think for me, you have a fantastic journey, and it's about uncovering that, unpacking that, yeah. And as we actually even talk about that, So I want to know what is actually driving you on a day-to-day basis. You know, when you're waking up, what actually makes you feel, I want to do it, and why? What is actually driving you? What are you chasing?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I would say this, right? This whole entrepreneurship journey or working for myself, right? The one thing that drives me completely is total, absolute freedom, right? I completely always detested being shackled to like a seat or being shackled to like a cubicle, right? I just never, there was really truly nothing in me that believed that that's how life should be. There just wasn't anything like that, right? However, I do support when people try to go for that goal, right? And what I truly support is this: doing what it is that you want to do, period, right? And if you want to be the person who's like, look, I find a lot of comfort that's, in sitting down, in a cubicle and working towards a certain project and having a pretty nice structured path that will get me from here to CEO and whatnot, fine.
Okay.
That just really wasn't me, right? So it is pretty much like the freedom to do what it is that I want to do that truly, truly drives me on this path, honestly, right? But the question is, you also do need to sustain, right?
Yep.
And also kind of give back, right? At least for me, right? When I say give back, I truly mean like making a difference. Everybody really wants to make a difference one way or the other. So the question then becomes, how do I freely give back and freely make a difference and still sustain myself as I go on this journey? You know what I mean? And that's what truly drives me.
Okay, that's interesting. And as you were talking about this journey to move into entrepreneurial path, right? One thing that is for sure is when you start working for yourself and you have clients paying you, they need to find something that is of interest to them in you. Otherwise, you won't be entering into business with you. So I want to know, in the job that you're doing, what does that then make you unique in your case, right? So what is that you believe people are actually buying in you when they're contracting your company?
That's a very good one. I think that, so my technical experiences have gotten me, so far, right? But what I notice is that, when it comes to this thing that we call engineering, there's always somebody who knows it better than you. There's always going to be someone who knows way better than you. I mean, I don't even claim any kind of ego at all of being this knowledge base when it comes to technical stuff, right? But what I can say is that I lean very deeply into myself and figure out what my uniqueness is. Excuse me, Tony.
That's fine.
And what I do is that I bring a blend of my technical expertise from working in utilities, and also my management consulting expertise working for a couple of the big 4 companies, right? So what makes me unique in virtually almost any situation that I've been is that I have got a 360 view of looking at any problem, so to speak, or any project. And I try to filter that down to some of my colleagues, right, that work for me and work with me, right? I guess a good example is when faced with a task or a unique problem that the client is really trying to solve. My first question is always like, well, why? Why do you guys feel like you need to solve this problem, right? Then I'm looking at it from a CEO's perspective. Okay. Then I look at it from a project manager's perspective. Then I look at it from a business process improvement perspective. Then I look at it from a technical lead perspective, right? So that I can have those simultaneous conversations with different players or stakeholders in that particular project, and then also speak their language and then make myself a little more effective and efficient in that particular role.
Excellent. And actually, you also got me thinking, because we're saying that helps you to become unique in that particular role, and that's actually fine. So the job that you're doing, so how long have you been doing it for? Remind me again.
This particular client I've been with the job itself, like it being in energy itself, it's been well over 10 years, right? But this particular client, I've been with them for about almost 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 2 years, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. And I'm sure they're still very much happy over why they will not be still contracting your services, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, you know what? I think I spent a little too long with them, to be honest. But right now it looks like they need my help, and I am here to serve. So I'm in the professional services industry.
I love it.
So.
I love it. Well, I love, obviously, at the end of the day, it's always about knowing as well that whatever you do, you're there to serve as well, and make sure that you do your bit, which is for me fantastic. And I know you talked about your industry being in a position whereby you can provide the services to different sectors, whether we're talking about new kind of energy like renewables energy, or also conventional. So I'm sure you're talking about your traditional oil and gas, coal, and so on and so forth. So based on that, I wanted to ask from you, especially in the sector that where you work, what is actually your perception of renewable, first of all, for you as a professional, and also the way you look at the industry? So what do you think as well that the customer are thinking? Are they taking it seriously? There's two questions here. So first of all, what is your own perception of renewables energy? And then the other side of the equation. So what, according to you, is a customer perception as well, and are they taking it seriously?
Ooh, man, Tony, you asked some tough questions, man.
Whoa. When you have clever people in front of you, so you gotta make sure that you deliver.
Yeah, you got some tough ones. This is what I would say. My perception of renewable energy, right?
Yeah.
I like to think about renewables from a layman's terms point of view, right? From the point of view of people who are not necessarily very, very intimate with the industry, right? And I always say, let's be careful on how we romanticize this thing, right? I'm always very, very cautious with that. Like renewables, just, it's such a buzzword. It's such a buzzword and so catchy. You say renewables and you think, oh, all of a sudden it's all rainbows and sunshines and free, what's that thing that they say on Christmas? Peace and love to the earth, or whatever, you know what I mean? But it comes at a price, a lot. So well, my thing is, for renewables, there are technical challenges, right, that we always need to take into consideration, right? But however, the technical challenges are not, which is going to answer your second part, whether customers take it seriously. And by customers, I'm assuming you mean end users, not necessarily clients, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so the technical challenges are just one thing, but the most challenging aspect of it is customer mentality towards energy consumption, right? Do customers take it seriously? In my opinion, not necessarily, right? And if you don't mind me going into a little bit of why I think so, right?
Yeah, do so.
One thing I truly do not, I think this is the engineering in me a lot, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I've got this nasty cough that just won't go away.
That's fine.
So one thing that I truly do not like as an engineer is wasted potential.
Yep.
Right? And I think I picked this up a lot from fluid dynamics course that I took one time, just watching energy just go to waste. Okay. And And that being said, right, there are so many resources that we can tap into to have alternative sources of energy. I don't really know too much about the arguments of climate change, whether it's real, whether it is, or whether or whatnot. I'm not exactly a scientist in that regard, but what I don't like is just seeing wasted potential. Okay. And one thing I see a lot, especially here in the United States, the consumers, is that we don't really think very hard about where our energy comes from, and also what our shifting or whether we should shift the way we think, or whether we should shift the way our mindset is when it comes to consuming energy, right? Good example is I see a difference between the way we consume here and, let's say, when I was in Germany, the way they consume, right? Very energy conscious, right? Buildings go off at a certain time of the day, certain rooms or certain locations find ways to just save, whether it's through automation or whatnot. Over here, we don't pay that much attention to it, right? So that being said, what I see is, well, we're wasting a lot of this, and we're not taking into consideration so many ways that we can convert like free sunlight, right, into energy, so to speak, though. And I guess, not to ramble on though, but I guess in a way, I don't really think we take it that seriously in that regard. The technical challenges, honestly, to renewables can be met, in my opinion.
I agree.
And this is one thing that, as an engineer, I kind of figured out, like, there's a solution to everything. As a management consultant, I realized, like, well, this is not how companies are run, right? People are very, very resistant to change.
Yeah.
And that's why lots of consulting companies really, really harp on change management and transformation projects, which is to get people to kind of like change the way that we kind of consume. So I'm not too sure if I answered that question, or if I just...
No, I think you answered that brilliantly for me. So you answered that brilliantly. That's great. You're right. So why, especially in my case, supporting strong advocate for renewables, I'm also saying we shouldn't be romanticizing things, as you mentioned. We should call a spade, but show to people how can things be done, even if in the meantime it may mean moving through a turbulent period of time, right? That's usually what conditions are for. But when it's done properly, it takes you to another state, right? Whereby then you can build a new equilibrium, right? And that's what it's all about. No, that's good. That's great. I think, yeah, we talked about the technical aspect of your job, and you share with us what's your opinion and kind of what you do. But I know as well, because you mentioned before that you have a very much open mindset. You like to travel, you have to discover new people. So I wanted to know, so is there any particular hobby that you like to do and you can share with us?
Oh man, hobbies.
Yeah, I know there is one you mentioned to me some time ago.
yeah. One thing about hobbies, right, is that I'm always like, are these hobbies or is this just a way of life? You know what I mean? But I understand your question, and in the spirit of your question, not to get too technical with everything, I will say that one hobby I truly enjoy very much is skiing. I enjoy skiing. I can't always
You
wait
must
for
be the
it.
first black guy that I know that loves skiing like that.
Oh man, I truly like. I mean, I look forward to winters, man. You know what I mean? And kind of like looking through traversing through challenging terrain and new mountains and everything. And every winter I find like a new mountain to try and conquer very much though. So I would say right now it's one of my hobbies of choice, so to speak, though.
So how often do you go skiing then?
if once the winter season hits, I think I like to start in November, and at the very least, Alexa, stop. At the at the very least, or sorry, at most, every 2 weeks, right? So that puts me like for the next 3 months, maybe like 20 times that season, if
Wow.
possible. Yeah, yeah, it's you know,
That's impressive.
I'm funny enough, I talk like this, like I'm this great skier, but I don't think I'm great, but I know that nobody can show me up on a mountain just yet, though. I can tell you that much.
That that's something to be seen, right? So
Yeah,
I've yet.
the thing with skiing is there isn't every skier knows that you never find that perfect turn, right? Or that perfect carve. So everyone is always chasing that every day, you know, and that's what gets you there.
Yeah, I think although personally, like I say, I have no knowledge of skiing, but I've obviously had a couple of people already, including in my family. So my
Yeah.
in-laws, they love skiing as well. So the way they talk is just like you. Maybe one of them, but I didn't know that.
You need to come up with me, Tony, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I tell you what, the second part of this interview, we do that when you're actually on the mountain, right? So
Right.
all the
Definitely.
gear. So
Let's do
that will help me to keep warm, right? So
right.
and see how you're moving from Arizona with the desert going all the way to the
Going
mountain.
all the way. It's funny. We do have a snow mountain, like I think 3 hours away from here.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
in Flagstaff. It's
So, oh, no, okay, that's fine. Well, I think we are slowly and surely moving toward the end of the conversation, but there's the important two key questions that I want to ask you. And because, like I say, I look at basically behind you, what's on the background there. I see there was a gentleman. It certainly doesn't look like me, or maybe
no,
it looked like a Greek guy, but I'm not sure whether he's a Greek. So, but
no.
actually, maybe you may explain what is the rationale of that, yeah, of that picture. But I wanted to know if you have actually any role model that
Right.
sort of have inspired you through your journey, and maybe see inspiring you. And if you don't mind sharing who they are, so that'd be great.
Okay. When it comes to role models, it can't be one person, man.
Well, I
It
don't
just
know.
can't.
Okay.
Well, the first person that always comes to mind is the guy behind me, actually. That's Hannibal Barca. He's some people who are very familiar with him. He was this African general that I mean, when you talk about ordinary people do extraordinary things, it is unbelievable. He was a Carthaginian general that went all the way to Italy to go conquer them, and he rode on the back of 56 elephants across the Alps, right? And then kind of like attacked the enemy from behind, and he just decimated the entire crew. I mean, he was such a strategic thinker. He was very and very, very innovative, right? The Alps are, as you know, like pretty high mountains, and he found a way to cut through it, So just an ordinary guy doing extraordinary things. And he also innovated when it comes to naval warfare. He changed the way we design some of our ships, So, and this was 200 and something BC. So I actually enjoy reading about him.
Would you say then you see yourself doing the same thing in your industry?
Oh, well, not on elephants though, but but you know what? An ordinary guy doing extraordinary things, yes.
That's what you're about.
Yeah, yeah. I think let me see. I truly like a man by the name of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. He's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, the name rings a bell. Yes. Yeah, that's a French
Aviator.
character, isn't it?
Yes, well, he's an aviator, and he wrote the Little Prince. I enjoy that. I enjoy him very much because I mean, as a pilot myself, man, I really want to, um, try and mimic a lot of those things that he he saw and the places that he kind of flew to. You know, I'd like to fly there too sometime, right? Because I enjoy aviation too very much. Let me see. There are lots of other people. I like Fela very much. I mean, as a Nigerian, I mean, I grew up with him as a hero. And some strange reason, don't ask me why, I like Arnold Schwarzenegger a lot.
Oh, I don't know.
I love Arnold very much.
You're in the wrong state. You got to go to California, man.
I know. I'm very much inspired by him, and maybe finally, I'll say that I thoroughly enjoy Plato.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I must say, sorry to cut you short there, but I must say, Arnold Schwarzenegger, because you know that, right? Every entrepreneur, we gotta listen to those motivational speakers at times, right? From time to time, that can boost up your morale, as you mentioned. And I've definitely listened already to Arnold Schwarzenegger's story, and it's just fantastic. And the funny thing is, sometimes, you know, as a fan, right, movie fan, so you see those actors, you know, those stars. So obviously everything look beautiful, but sometimes you just can't imagine how they managed to build, you know, that life that they're having. And Schwarzenegger, you know, basically to the different speeches that he's done, he has a fantastic, phenomenal life. We just can't think about it right now, but he has a fantastic. So in that, like I say, it wouldn't look as the usual hero, Mr. Everybody, but yes, he's has a very, very inspirational. And when you think about that, he went all the way to become a governor. So that's an immigrant that came into the country, become a household name, and all of a sudden went all the way to become governor. And I'm sure if it wasn't for the fact that I wasn't born in the US, who knows? It may have been even, because I remember for the 2 terms he had, he was popular to what I know, right? So I know I'm not in the US, you live in there, you know more than I. But the impression I had from outside was clearly, so it was up to the job, and then I think it was good enough to be reelected. So
very inspiring, man. You know, I mean, I was totally inspired by him.
Yeah, that's great. So I asked you the final question, and I want to bring it back to the current context, right? Because we've gone through, I would say, a relatively tough time, right? I have to say, because we've had COVID that lasted for 2 years and a bit. Obviously, we're not out of the wood yet, but it's fair to also recognize that things have improved from that front. And all of a sudden, when we finished that, we were looking at slowly but surely, you know, climbing back and going sort of regaining the life that we all had before. And then again, we have the Ukraine-Russia situation that's bringing a lot of tension into the world. And as a result of that, we have now inflation just, you know, going off the roof in pretty much all the countries. So I've seen that in Europe, seen that in America, I've certainly seen that in Africa, where you and I both from. So that can have a pretty depressing impact, you know, on a number of people. So I wanted to know, you know, from your experience of being an entrepreneur and having like I say, cover as well, part of the journey. I'm sure you have many, many challenges as well yourself. I just wanted to know, so what kind of advice would be give to either your younger self or a young entrepreneur coming and going through this period and feeling a little bit depressed? What kind of advice can you give them?
Oh, man. You know, I think about that, and the first thing that pops into my mind is
don't tell me Stallone.
Everybody can do it. No. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is Game of Thrones, right? Where one of the characters, Littlefinger, says, "Chaos is a ladder," right? You know, and I think that there's always an opportunity in everything. Personally, right? Whether it's COVID or whatever, right? Like, case in point, well, first of all, you cannot worry about the things that you can control, and the things that you cannot control, just give it up, right? I know somebody who got so upset with this whole Russia situation, and she just got up and left and went to go volunteer in Ukraine, right?
I heard about a story like that.
Yeah, yeah, and the stuff that she could control, she did, right? Instead of sitting down, letting it get to her, right? During COVID, that's when I got the most clients, right? And that's when I really ramped up my ratings for being a pilot, you know? So truly, the thing is, so my advice would be the stuff that you can control, yeah, go ahead and control anything that bothers you so much about all of this, then do something about it. Yeah.
Excellent. I think that's a beautiful stage just to close the conversation there. Well, listen, I think that was a fascinating conversation that you and I had. And I'm sure we're probably going to have a chance to have a second part, because like I say, we've just touched on some aspect of your life, but there's again so many more that we can cover and we can also unpack as well. And I know as well that you feel as well quite passionately and strongly about a number of topics. Some of them actually are part of your work. And then and as we're talking, you and I know you there's definitely a couple of articles that you're going to be dropping there where you want to share some pretty interesting idea. But already ahead of that, like I say, I'm very, very interested to and honored to have had the chance to talk to you. Because like I say, people like yourself, we need more of that. The explorer of life, we need that, right? So going to Mars, I want to be with you, right? So when you have your
Thank you very much, Tony. I appreciate it. Man. Thank you so much for
when you build that spaceship, remember, right? So we did the interview together.
Hopefully we'll be there together, man.
Yeah.
No fear, no fear.
So, yeah, who knows? We may have like the next step, you know, when we're on our way to Mars. But yeah, Odion, like I said, that was a brilliant interview. Thank you very much for giving up some time for us to go through the interview, and also for people to learn about you, to discover who you are, and hopefully to be inspired by what you're doing. So I'm pretty much sure there's a lot more that we'll be able to share about you in the coming weeks of months. But for the time being, we're pretty satisfied and pretty inspired by what you've been doing so far. So thank you very much for being our guest, and I wish you a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Tony. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Excellent. We stay in touch.
All right.